Hey YouTube, it's your girl, Dr. J, the Midlife Writer, and I'm back again with another 5 things I think you should know if you're going to be traveling internationally. So, in a previous video, I covered top 5 things I think you should know, and here are another 5 things that I think are pretty important for you to know if you are going to be traveling abroad anytime soon. And that's not just to move abroad, that's actually if you want to travel for vacation, whether it's a week, a month, a year, anything like that. So, the first thing that I am going to recommend, and this is particularly for people in the United States because this is what I know. I assume that there might be something like this for people in other countries, but that is having an international driver's permit. So, an international driver's permit is something that you can actually get it from AAA. And when I got mine, they cost about $20. And what it does is it actually translates your US driver's license, your US state issued driver's license, into other languages. And so what it does is it has your picture, it has your pertinent information from your driver's license, and it translates it into, I'm looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 countries, 6 languages, and it tells you a list of the countries where this international driver's permit is valid. And you still need to have your driver's license, so don't leave your driver's license at home. But when you have your driver's license, when you hand your driver's license over, if you get pulled over by the cops, if you have to make a police report or anything like that, having that international driver's permit will allow them to see your English-based, state-issued driver's license and actually be able to translate it into, and it's translated for them, all the pertinent information so that you're going to be good. A lot of times if you're going to rent a vehicle overseas as well, people will require that you have, or countries will require that you have an international driving permit that you have with you, and it's just paper, right? It's just a paper permit, but it's important to have that if you're going to be driving when you're overseas. So you still need your state issued license, but that goes along with it. So I would highly recommend having that, like I said, especially if you want to drive when you are overseas. So the second thing, and this goes along with driving overseas, is making sure you have an understanding of the laws for the place that you're going to be visiting. I cannot tell you the number of times I talk with people, and this was 20 years ago. I would talk to people, be like, "Yeah, we're going to Jamaica," and like, "Oh, you can smoke marijuana in Jamaica," and it was like, "No, you couldn't. It was not legal." I'm not sure if it's legal now, but at the time it was not legal. And so people will be encouraging you to go and do something in another country that wasn't legal. A lot of people don't realize, like when we moved to Korea, South Korea, and I got my Korean driver's license, I had to take a 2-hour test. And I'm so glad that I did because there were so many laws that were very different than the laws that I had encountered in the United States for a driver. The legal drunk driving limit is very different in South Korea, than it is in the United States. It's much lower. Also, if you get into a car accident in the United States, it's important that you pull your vehicle over to a safe space. So if you get into a car accident and you're on the freeway or something like that, you go ahead and you move over to the side of the road. Well, in South Korea, you do not move your vehicle at all. If you get into an accident, you stay right where you are. If you move your vehicle 1 inch, you are violating the law because it looks like you're trying to flee, or it looks like you're trying to change the staging of the accident to make it seem like maybe you weren't at fault. And so you, as an American, may have tried to move to the side of the road because you think, oh, it's safer, I'm not going to impede traffic, but you're actually compounding the laws that you're violating. And so you really want to make sure you have an understanding of the laws of the country that you're going to be in, even as a tourist. Because look, I used to watch Locked Up Abroad, and so I make sure that I know the laws of where I am going to be, because I wouldn't do good and do well in anyone's prison. So I'm not trying to visit anyone's prison. And so I would encourage you to make sure you understand the laws of wherever you're going to be visiting as well, regardless of how short that visit may be. Next, international calling. So have a plan, particularly if you're going to be someplace for more than a week or so. Have a plan on how you're going to make calls. I know a lot of people use WhatsApp. WhatsApp is a calling. It's an app that you put on your phone, and the people that you're calling also need WhatsApp on their phone, but it allows you to make voice as well as video calls, and you can do it without charges because it's Wi-Fi based. But understand your calling plan, and if you're gonna start having international charges, if you use your dial on your phone, you can dial on WhatsApp and you won't have those international charges. So I know when we were moving, we made sure that our parents, our siblings, everybody, they had WhatsApp as well, so we could all communicate in that way, and so we could communicate as often as possible. There's other ways that you can call and different things like that, so be aware. Just really study, like, how can I keep communication open with people without it costing me a lot of money, because even if you put an international plan on your phone plan, those international calls can be amazingly expensive, as high as 25 cents a minute. So you really want to make sure that there's a way for you to communicate with folks that won't cost an arm and a leg. And WhatsApp is one way to do that. There are a lot of other ways that you can do it as well. Just research the way that's going to work for you and the people that you want to communicate with, and make sure everybody has access to that app so you have a good communication plan in place. Number 4 is cash. So I know in my first video I talked about having a credit card, but also understand that for a lot of places, they're still on a very much a cash system. And so you want to have both in places like that. There are some places that you go to, nobody's using cash, so you have to have a credit card or some other way of paying. For other places, they're still very much on a cash-based system. So just know that you may be doing some traveling where you need to have cash. And if you're not used to carrying cash with you, you want to get used to carrying cash. You want to see, do I need to exchange money? So I'm only carrying foreign money, or the money that I'm using in country. Just have it in your head, because there are some places where you pay your rent in cash. Right? And so that can be, a little bit jarring if you are, from like the US. You definitely don't ever pay your rent in cash in the United States, whereas you can go to other countries and that is the way that you pay your rent, is with cash. And so just know that you may need cash in the place that you're going. So just do your due diligence, but know that that is a possibility. And some people make very, very large purchases in cash, so just be aware of that. It's not unheard of. And the last, number 5 recommendation, and this is specifically for U.S. citizens, but I would recommend that you look into and enroll in the Smart Traveler Enrollment Program. And it's run by the U.S. Department of State. And it is basically, what you do is you fill out the enrollment when you're going to be leaving the country. You will let the U.S. Department of State know where you're going, how long you're going to be there, what are the dates that you're going to be there, and how to get in contact with you. The reason why you do that is because they are going to let you know if there's any sort of emergency that happens while you're there. The thing about emergencies is that we can't plan for them, right? And so there are a lot of type of emergencies that can take place in any country at any time. Sometimes those emergencies can be related to weather or natural disasters. Like, nobody can predict an earthquake, right? Or sometimes there's civil unrest, or sometimes you might just have a family emergency. And by registering in the Department of State's STEP program, it is a way for you to have much faster contact with the U.S. Embassy, and they can help you get a plan to get out. So I know sometimes if you've ever seen where something goes down in a country and they talk about U.S. citizens being evacuated, you go, I wonder how they knew. Well, they know you're there by enrolling in the STEP program. And so if they know you're there, they know that they need to be working on a way to get you out. So if you're going to someplace and all of a sudden there's a typhoon, that country is going to be meeting the needs of its own citizens. So your country, where you are a citizen, needs to be making sure to meet the needs for you. But they can't meet your needs if they don't even know you're there. And if you pre-enroll in the STEP program, when that disaster strikes, they already know that they need to be looking for you and getting a plan in place to evacuate you. And that's going to be much better than you trying to figure out where the embassy is when everybody else is trying to survive too. So just go ahead. I know a lot of people are like, I don't want the government knowing my business. You're going to want the government to know your business if stuff go down in the place where you are. And so the government is not trying to be in your business. They're not trying to track you or whatever. And if they want to track you, they're going to track you. Like, do we not know this already, right? So you might as well get the benefit that your citizenship entails you and get the benefits of being a citizen. That's one of the beautiful benefits of being a United States citizen, is that the United States Embassy is there to help you. And so if disaster strikes, at least your country is using the resources that it has available to help you, their citizen, get back to safety. And it also will allow for the U.S. Embassy to contact your emergency contact back in the United States and let them know, hey, you're safe. They were able to get you, because communication channels may go down, but countries are always going to be able to communicate. So your cell phone may not be working, but the U.S. government, the embassy, will be able to get a message to your family, letting them know that you're safe, you've been located, you are being evacuated, where you're going to be evacuated to, because they're not necessarily going to drop you off on your doorstep. And so it is a way to keep those communication channels open. So look, this is one of the privileges of being a citizen. And other countries have their own programs in place. I just don't know what those programs are. And y'all know, Midlife Writer, I stay in my lane. And so this is my lane, the U.S. citizen lane. And so this is the program that I know about, and this is the program I would encourage you to use. I've used it a lot. I always want to know, like, is there going to be transport for me if something goes down? So I always make sure that my name is on the list if stuff go down. And so I would encourage you to do that as well. So once again, my 5 picks for things that you should know or have if you're going to be traveling abroad. That is number 1, an international driver's license. Or an international driving permit. So it's not a driver's license, it's a permit. And what it does is it translates your driver's license into other languages so that you can communicate with the country that you're going to. And it is accepted in hundreds of countries. So just, have it so you got it in place. And you also be able to rent a car. An understanding of the laws of the country that you're going to. Making sure that you have a plan in place for making international calls that won't cost you an arm and a leg, having cash if you are going to a country where they use cash more than cards, and if you're a United States citizen, registering in the STEP program with the U.S. State Department, or if you're a citizen of another country, finding out how you register with your particular government so that if evacuation is necessary, that can happen for you, and your country will work on your behalf to bring their own citizen home. So I hope that helps. This is Dr. J, the Midlife Writer. Bye-bye.